So, the rules on how lap cars are handled under the safety car have now been changed as a result of the contentious decisions made by race control in last year's championship deciding Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The FIA stepped in to change the troublesome wording in order to avoid a repeat of the disastrous event that occurred during that fateful safety car. So, how will the new rules affect things, and will it actually solve the problem? Let's find out. So, as we all know, the championship deciding Abu Dhabi Grand Prix became a source of contention after Formula One race director Michael Masi made the highly controversial decision to restart the race after allowing only a portion of the lap drivers to rejoin the lead lap. Masi allowed the 5 lap cars between race leader Hamilton and second place Verstappen to unlap themselves. Meanwhile, 2 other lap cars, one between Verstappen and third place Carlos Sainz Jr. and one further back, were not permitted to unlap themselves. Verstappen then overtook Hamilton after the restart to win the race and the World Championship. Mercedes immediately protested the result, claiming Masi had broken the rules by only allowing a portion of the field to reclaim the lead lap. Mercedes' protest was denied and Verstappen's victory was confirmed. However, the stewards admitted in their decision that Article 48.12 of the 2021 regulations may not have been fully applied at the time. The rule stated that if the clerk of the course considers it safe to do so and the message "lap cars may now overtake" has been sent to all competitors via the official messaging system, any cars that have been lapped by the leader will be required to pass the cars on the lead lap and the safety car. Following the race, the original wording became a major talking point. There was some discussion about the potentially ambiguous meaning of the word "any" in the debate that followed. To avoid a repeat, and after consulting with the teams, the FIA amended the relevant rule, which now states that all lap cars must be waved past the leader if it is deemed safe to do so. Article 55.13 now reads as follows. If the clerk of the course considers it safe to do so and the message "lapped cars may now overtake" has been sent to all competitors using the official messaging system, all cars that have been lapped by the leader will be required to pass the cars on the lead lap and the safety car. The interpretation of the rule was critical to Mercedes' complaint about how the race was handled. Masi's decision to only allow selected cars to rejoin the lead lap contradicted an explanation he gave following a race in 2020, according to Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff. How can it be that 14 months ago at the Eiffel Grand Prix, the explanation that was given was exactly the contrary to what has happened on Sunday? The explanation that was given that the reason why the safety car was out there so long is that all cars need to unlap themselves, with the explanation that this is following the sporting regulations. Not only the decision has been taken in a totally opposite way, but an explanation is being made 180 degrees different to what happened 14 months ago. Nonetheless, it appears that at least by the old rules standards, Masi's decision was well within his right, no matter how much Mercedes disputes that. However, one could argue that Masi's application of the rule violated both the spirit of the article and the integrity of the sport as a whole. It not only caused Lewis Hamilton to take a hiatus from social media, raising concerns about his potential retirement due to his disillusionment, but it also cast a shadow over the entire sport, with many rightly infuriated that the decision influenced the outcome of the championship. But if there is one person who strongly disagrees with that viewpoint, it's Red Bull team principal Christian Horner, who was adamant that the outcome was Mercedes' fault, not Masi's. Mercedes hung Hamilton out to dry a little bit by expecting him to be able to defend on 44-lap-old tyres. In the aftermath of that, there was a concerted campaign by our rivals to discredit our achievement, even to the point of the FIA prize giving. It's a tactic that has been employed by Mercedes in other championships as well. As for the idea that the result was influenced by the need for entertainment over sport, I don't agree with that either. I don't think the Drive to Survive director was sitting in race control saying, "We need this to finish now." It's always been clear that it was never good to finish a race under a safety car, and that every effort would be made to ensure that didn't happen, because it's the biggest anticlimax that sporting viewers can have. Of course, the FIA's investigation into the events also resulted in a complete restructure of race control. To begin with, Michael Masi has been replaced as F1 director, with Niels Wittich, former DTM race director, and Eduardo Freitas, WEC race director, acting alternately. In response, Horner accused Mercedes of bullying and questioned the FIA's decision to remove Masi. Was it right to fire him based on pressure that was placed on him from a rival team? That for me was wrong. That's tantamount to bullying. It's passively aggressive. While Horner admitted that Masi made mistakes, he still believes that his dismissal was unjust. Yes, Michael did make mistakes and it was frustrating, but you have to look at the role that he was in and the tools that he had at his disposal. You can't just place the blame on Michael. It's unfair to do that. Horner has received some criticism within F1 for speaking about the importance of being concerned about Masi's mental health, given the amount of blame he and Red Bull heaped on officials during the course of 2021. However, he stated that he spoke out because he felt it was unacceptable how Masi had been treated, both by the fans threatening him on social media and by the FIA, which Horner believes did not provide enough support to its race director. We were on the receiving end of many of Michael's errors, but he is in a high-pressure role in a high-pressure sport. But what's unforgivable is the trolling, the abuse online, the death threats that he and his family had. That absolutely cannot be condoned in any way. That has nothing to do with the sport, it's just out-and-out bullying, and I would not accept that in any way within our organisation. That's why I spoke up for Michael, because I felt that he had not had any support, he had not had any backing, that he'd been hung out to dry, and that there was this concerted campaign that was very passively aggressively focused against him. I will always stand up for someone who is being bullied. Bullying is not acceptable. Wittich and Freitas will be assisted by Herbie Blash as the permanent senior advisor, with Blash returning to F1 5 seasons after stepping down as the late Charlie Whiting's deputy race director. Now, a virtual race control room, akin to football's VAR, will also be established, while direct radio communications between teams and the race director will be discontinued. All of these changes appear to be welcomed, with the goal of making decisions more consistent and accurate, at least according to Sky Sports F1 analyst Karun Chandok. We've all expected some sort of a change to be coming. It's been coming for a little while now. The pressure was ramping up, so I wouldn't say I'm entirely surprised. I think what I'm more encouraged by is the fact that the system is changing, and this is something that I've written about and talked about. Michael is a capable race director, and we can all agree that he made a mistake in Abu Dhabi, and if he had his chance again he would do it differently. But I don't think the system helped him, and for me the most important news coming out of today isn't that they're replacing Michael, but they're setting up structures around whoever the race director will be to make the sport more fairly controlled. It's quite hard for one person to have control over the overall picture, and I think that's what happened in Abu Dhabi, so just to have a few more eyes on how things are unfolding on track will be undoubtedly helpful for the race director. Wittich and Freitas have got a tough job. Michael Masi in Abu Dhabi has made the race director much more famous than any race director, and these two gentlemen are walking into a very high-pressured environment. Aside from these changes, the FIA also made a few other tweaks. As an example, for the duration of the TV pen interviews and FIA post-race press conference, all drivers must remain attired in their respective team's uniform only. Another change was brought about because of Max Verstappen, who was fined at last year's Brazilian GP for touching the rear wing of Lewis Hamilton's Mercedes in Parc Ferme. As a result, a new rule states, drivers must not interfere with Parc Ferme protocols in any way. There's also a minor change to one of the new point allocations for shortened races introduced this year in the aftermath of last season's Belgium GP, which didn't include a flying racing lap. For races that are stopped between 50 and 75% of the way, the score for 4th place has increased from 9 to 10 points, and the score for 7th place has decreased from 5 to 4 points. In addition, for resumptions following red flag periods, teams will now be given at least a minute's notice as to whether it will be a standing or rolling start before the signal to leave the pits is given. Previously, no time was given. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel, and don't forget to click the bell button to be notified of future videos. Please leave your thoughts in the comments section below. So, what do you think of the rules rewording? Will it have the desired effect? Do you think the FIA's restructuring of race control is convincing in general, or do you think the same problems will arise? We'd love to hear your thoughts.